there was a time I went backpacking in Europe, and my cousin was at this hotel in Paris, and I had gotten in while he was doing a tour with his wife. And when I checked in, they go, "Oh, like Miss Cruz, here's a note for you." And then I was like, "A note?"
You want to start?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Hello, everyone. Monday morning is upon us again, or evening, or afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to None of Your Business Bar. We thought this week we'd go for something a touch more fun. I think the last two visits at the bar have been really cool. We got into some deep stuff, some philosophy stuff, some what is going on here type thing. But we're like, yeah, that's all good, but let's have a bit of fun today, you know? Not that we don't have fun, but like more fun, shall we say. And we thought, why don't we take a trip down memory lane, by which we mean childhood. Call them obsessions, call them moments, memories, because we're probably stuffed full of them. You know, the times where we just only focused on one thing, whether it was like the latest craze or trend or TV show or music. So it's like, let's throw them out there. What do people remember? Even if it's like things like Lexi, you talked about Encarta, right?
Yeah.
Everyone remember? I probably think we'll probably have to do a lot of explaining in this session, because like we're going to use references from like people like CDs, Encarta. What the hell are you guys on about? So I remember Encarta, but go on, you had a story about it.
Yeah, it's when I used it, it was in a CD-ROM form, and the reason why I had it was because I would always ask my dad stuff because I wasn't allowed to like watch TV during the weekdays. So I would always ask him stuff for like research, or like if he could take me to the library to research things.
Yeah.
And then he was just kind of like, "Oh, just like I'll log you into the computer and then you can research it." And so we ended up researching or I ended up researching different things. And essentially we ended up going about like like he ended up taking a CD-ROM of Encarta and giving it to me, and
We should
he
probably
was
just
like,
say
"Here,
that Encarta is like an encyclopedia.
encyclopedia."
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what it was. Because at the time I thought I needed an encyclopedia because I was trying to research stuff like dinosaurs and bats and tigers, so and Greek mythology. But it's like, he would have to get like the letters of all those encyclopedias. So he was just like, "Here." So he gave me Encarta and I logged on, and I like still remember like the opening screen and everything. I was like, "Oh, there's dinosaurs." Like it was like really colorful. And then that's how I ended up doing a lot of research. So I'd still go to the library, but that's how a lot of the research came about, was through Encarta and going on CD-ROM, which is a way of how information was relayed or programs were put into the computer at the time.
Did you
So
did
it'd
you
be like download, essentially.
did you have to
Insert.
did you have to buy the CD?
Yeah, he bought it.
Because I got mine packaged with my computer.
Yeah, no, this was a time where he just bought it.
It was used to come in a massive box for a CD. Was that the
Yeah,
thing? Like
I
it,
never understood that.
all that, yeah, the big huge box, and it was just like the little case with the
Yeah.
CD in it. And
Yeah.
some people might watch you guys go, "What are you on about?" So I know we're all on laptops and everything's getting smaller and mini nowadays, and like less ports, less stuff for you to plug in. But back in the
Before
day,
that life.
desktops. There were no laptops. Well, there were laptops, but they're like only for like high end people, I guess. But the market was desktops, and there'd be a big tower or there'd be a big bass where there'd be a separate driver. You click a little button. I always found those little things very cool when like whizzed out like zzz, like it's like beep,
Yeah.
and you can put a little tray on it. You have to, and you're always careful like don't get scratches on the CD, and then make sure it goes back in. And you'd hope that your computer would recognize you plugged in a CD, and it's like, oh, the little startup screen comes up, and like, yes, it
Yep.
works. It was always
Yep.
like and you'd always think like if it didn't work, you'd listen for like the sound of death, like on the CD where it would just keep spinning, and you
Oh my
can't,
gosh.
and it's like, oh shit, is it the
That's
drive?
like that's the equivalent to when you're trying to plug things into the old Nintendo and you have to like
Yeah,
blow on the game move.
yeah, you did that as well.
Yeah.
That it worked.
I wanted to play Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, so and it did work.
Yeah,
So yeah, you learn to
honestly,
just
like,
blow the dust off.
yeah. Never mind. You think, am I gonna get electrocuted? No,
No,
it's like
no,
there's nothing.
we want to play
It
the game.
genuinely worked.
Yeah.
It was the NES, the SNES, the Mega Drive, Game Gear, Game Boy. Anything you tried, it would work. Somehow,
Yes.
um, you didn't have to worry that blowing on the cartridge absolutely worked.
That's like the equivalent also to the Nokia phone when like back in the day where if it got wet or something, you just put it in a bag of rice and it just
Yeah,
always miraculously just like was okay. But it's because of how the phones were built back
yeah.
then. Like,
Built to
like
last. I think they're still
yeah,
saying that like if you tried running the pat, I think I read something like the Nokia either 3210 or 3310 last had a battery life of 24 to 36 hours or something without
yeah,
charging. Okay,
yeah,
fair enough. It's only a tiny screen and
yeah.
um
It's small,
yeah, no apps and
but
shit,
it
but
works.
it worked. It did its job.
Yeah.
Um did you ever get obsessed on Snake?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that game was fun. It's
Honestly, like
like the simplest game,
yeah,
but it was still so much fun.
yeah, yeah. You get that apple, make sure you don't bump into your tail, and no distractions, honestly. And also, I don't know if you tried this, you had the ability to make your own ringtone with the beats.
Yes. Yeah.
You'd learn like
Yeah.
musical scale, like the note, every note, and then people on the web would like, but if you want this song, do it like this. And like,
Yes.
it sounded good as well. Like, oh, when your
Yeah.
phone rings, like the latest like pop song comes up. But yeah, honestly, it was such a basic
It was
thing,
a
but
fun time.
it was. Why? And like you always think, like, why do we look back on it with like rose tinted lenses, or like wish it was back then? Because like people always associate it with older people. But it was
I
good. It was
mean,
better. It was. It just was.
yeah. I guess it just depends. Like, obviously there's pros and cons to everything. Like things that weren't a good time back then were maybe like all the gang violence, and stuff like that. But, or the kidnappings. There was a lot of child kidnappings
Were there?
during that time. Yeah. Like I wasn't allowed to like, well, in the States. Sorry, let
Ah,
me clarify. In the States, it was like that. That's why there's an episode of South Park where they're wearing those things on their head and it's just like they can't get kidnapped and they were paranoid about getting kidnapped in the earlier seasons. That's what they were spoofing, was because everybody was getting kidnapped at that time. Not that that's funny, but it's just like that was what South Park was spoofing.
see, even
Because
on,
that's how, yeah.
but see,
Go
even on
ahead.
South Park, it's like that wasn't an obsession, but it's like everybody just tuned to watch it. I know you do get that's something I think that still stayed. People all group together to watch something, so there's like everybody gets obsessed by it, right? Like recent, I think it's like what can you say? Recently, it's been like Game of Thrones.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
what else have people come around? Like in the UK, there's like the Traitors. Like, have you heard
Oh.
of that? The game
Mm-mm.
show. So it's actually quite a cool show. So like, you get 24 strangers, um, and the host of the show, um, so that you're all blindfolded, and to start with, a minimum of 3 people are selected as traitors. So the whole point of the show is for the rest of the group, called the Faithful, are meant to work out who are the traitors and vote them out. So every day that so it's a money making thing. So hey Danny, it's so you all work together to make money by doing tasks in the show, and at the end of the day, you all sit around a table and you try and work out who the traitors are, and you banish somebody. So you vote out somebody, right? And they
Yeah.
say whether they are faithful or a traitor. And at the overnight, the traitors meet secretly to work out which one of the faithful are we going to murder. Not literally, but like as in get rid of from the game. And in the morning, the person doesn't appear. They've gone. And everyone's like, oh my God, they've gone. Like, and so you carry on. And the end game, the end game is there has to be a minimum of 2 people left. But I think I think when it gets to like 4 or 5 people left, you can all choose to stop the game because you believe that, like, okay, there's no more traitors left. If the faithful get it wrong and there's like 1 traitor left, the traitor takes all the money. If you've only got faithful, then the faithful split the money. So everyone's like pretty much into that kind of game. We're like, oh, I wonder who's going to win. And there's celebrity versions and non-celebrity versions. So
That's cool.
But I think back in the day, it was, but here's the thing. I think what's changed is like with those series nowadays, you can watch them in one go. Like, you know, they'll all be up on Netflix or all be up on, you know, your streaming service. You can watch them in one go, like box set it. Back then, you had to wait every week for the next episode.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you go to school next day or wherever and you discuss it with like, did you see the latest episode? And because if you missed it, you missed it. Unless you VCR'd it. Did you ever do you had to make sure the timing was right on the VCR. 5 minutes before, 5 minutes back, in case it started late or an advert ran over. There's nothing worse than you cutting out the last minute because it overran and you didn't catch it. Like, oh, fuck. Or what's worse is someone taped over it.
Yeah, that was a popular thing too, is people taping over.
I remember I got to the point where, like, right, there's only 3 of us in the house. We are getting 1 VCR each, 1 tape. That's your tape. That's your tape. That's your tape. Yeah, there was always overlap. Like, oh, I need space on my thing, and
Oh my gosh!
Honestly, and the little tricks you had to learn on the VCR, like if you switch to long play, you get a longer recording time, and that was an accurate science. Honestly, it's true. It's true.
So different. Then like TiVo came out and everyone's like, oh my gosh, TiVo everything. So they could just record it straight from the box.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And here we are now with streaming services.
Well, yeah, it's like, I always think that, imagine the creators of the show, right? It's taken you ages to put it together, to edit it, to da-da-da. And then in like a matter of a few hours, people can see the whole series.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think we've lost that little bit of.
It's the same with books.
Yeah.
Months and months and months, and then someone finishes it in less than a day, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. There's everything is like more instant now. Like even if it's like binge watching, it's like you want that instant gratification. You want to like, you know, like I prefer to binge watch stuff. I don't like waiting until the next thing.
Really?
Yeah. I prefer it that way, because if I'm going to sit down and watch something, like I'll block off time to just do it, because it's the only way that I can like fully decompress is by engaging in something and just watching it straight and kind of like going into that adventure. And then all these things pop in my head and all these creative ideas come up. Then I'm like, oh, stay with it. And then watching it. And then like after I watch it, I'm like inspired by all these things. So it's like, I prefer it that way, because then for me, it's more of like a focus. I can just focus on one thing. And then when it's done, I can move on to the next thing.
Well, you always like that though.
Yeah.
Because like you couldn't back in the day, right? Because you had to wait. You can't exactly get a stream or like someone's uploaded it early.
So like I grew up where I wasn't allowed to watch TV during the weekdays. So it was normal for me to wait every weekend to watch anything. Like that was just regular for me. So it was like a week away was nothing, because I would just play on the computer. So it wasn't.
This will be good. If you had to wait what did you wait for? I wonder what correlation we get on shows. Like, do we watch the same shows? What shows did you have? I can't wait to watch this next week. Or
When I
whatever.
was when I was little, it was
Yeah.
Hercules and Xena Warrior Princess because I was like obsessed with Greek mythology. So those were like the shows that I just wanted to watch. Every week I was so excited to watch. It was like such a treat. And then like sometimes like on Saturday mornings, my dad would be watching Dragon Ball Z and I just like walk into the room and I'm like, "Hey, Papa, what are you watching?" I was like, "Who's this little dude running around in a cloud with a tail? Why does he have a tail?" And then we just like watched it from there. So he kind of introduced me to anime. He's like, "I don't know." And he's just like watching it. And then what was the other one? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That one I really loved watching. I even had the tennis shoes. But I'd say like those were the ones that I watched the most, like growing up, between all of the shows, just because I wasn't allowed to watch TV. So TV wasn't really like a big thing for me. So that's why I think I'd rather wait and then watch and then wait because it's like everything in its proper time kind of thing. So it's like if I know, go ahead.
Did that loosen on the weekends? Could you like you can watch whatever on the
Yeah.
weekend?
Yeah, on the weekends, that's when I was allowed to watch TV. So, but even then, it wasn't like I watched a lot of TV. I still would end up playing on the computer because the computer was more engaging to me because I was like typing tutorials and like little games. Like for me, I come from the time of like when DOS was around. So I would play
Oh
like the
wow!
Wheel of Fortune and I'd play like Jeopardy, like on DOS. So it's like, like it was like a weird, like all these games had like weird little tones to it, like how we were talking about the Nokia phone. Everything was just tones, everything was very pixelated,
But catchy.
so yeah, I mean, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I got really good at typing. Like by the time I think it was 8 years old, I was typing like 100 words a minute. So it was just kind of like during that time, that wasn't a thing because most people didn't even have computers. So it was one of those things where I just did these things because I wasn't allowed to do anything else. So it's kind of like if you don't have anything to do all day but play a typing game, and get better at typing, like you're gonna excel in that.
So that's where all this like drive and talent comes from, like days and years of typing commands on DOS, becoming a master at it. While the rest of us just woke up on Saturday mornings and watched like the Turtles and Captain Planet and all this kind of thing. It's funny when you mentioned Turtles, like that. I don't know which way around it was, but like so. Everybody knows them as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they were renamed to Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because I think either the UK or the US, one of the two, the word
UK.
ninja was too violent for children apparently, so they changed ninja to hero.
No, it's always been TMNT.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone knows them as. But I know when we watched it here, must be us. They were called the Hero Turtles. And there was never confusion. It's like, okay, we just take them as the Hero Turtles. But that was a cartoon that always came out in the early mornings. Saturday morning cartoons were definitely a thing.
Yeah.
The one time where everybody else was either asleep or away, and you'd get the TV for the 1.5 or whatever hours that the cartoons were on for. And they were they seem to be a different style of cartoons as well, like all very artistically made. Like the animation was so like you mentioned Dragon Ball Z and that it was very detailed.
Yeah.
And then everything else about it, like the theme tunes, the characters, they're all like Thundercats and the Turtles, Captain Planet. What else was there? Like random ones.
Many of those.
Go on, Danny.
Many of them that you're saying are based from comic books.
Yeah.
So it's like they already had the stories, and then anime is already known to have such badass stories underneath it. It's like all these layers of anime that are in it. It's like you really get a backstory with the characters and really get a feel of the characters and how to mesh with others and all this stuff. There's so many lessons in it. I mean, I love anime because of that.
Yeah,
It's
same.
so more dense that people truly believe that they know nothing about anime.
Do you think
Yeah.
anime's changed from back then to now? I'm not really tapped into that world, but like,
I mean, it's changed in a way, it's progressed as the
yeah,
world has.
yeah.
So in that sense, it's more faster paced, but they still have such richening characters that they create and still great backstories. I mean, there's still some of the anime that I've checked out that are more new, and I've fallen in love with them because it comes back to us becoming better human beings or being more
Yep.
connected with ourselves in so many different ways.
Mm.
Yeah. I feel like people that watch anime, especially growing up, just have like a different mentality because you literally learn a lot of lessons, like life lessons that you don't even realize yet because it's not, you don't know that it could even exist yet because you're still a child or you're still like at a certain age. And then you watch it again, like let's say during that time or after the fact, and it's just like everything just resonates because it's exactly what you go through. And that's what I like about it is like they pick up on a lot of what people feel like when like the Stan Lee era. I was like talking about this earlier. The Stan Lee era is when like the heroes finally had human like things. Like I think Iron Man was like an alcoholic, you know, and it's just like the Superman, you know, he has this inner turmoil. Batman also, like everybody has all these issues that human beings go through. So it's like it was a way to like humanize them. But really, if you look at it, we're the heroes that we watch. So it's like they're going through the same thing we're going through. It's relatable, and this is how they chose to go through it. And if they can make it, maybe I can make it too, and I'll be okay. Like, you know, Batman went through this, or Naruto went through this, like whoever you want to pick. And it's just, it helps because it's relatable, because sometimes there isn't like necessarily people around at the perfect times for you to connect to, or even just like anything, an environment isn't around for that. But when you can watch something and just really feel like you're understood just by watching it, and you kind of get that observation mode of yourself where you kind of step out of yourself and you look at yourself in observation mode, I feel like that's super helpful too. So it's like, yeah, I'm with Danny. Like we're all about the anime lifestyle. I know Christopher is too.
Did Pokemon count as anime?
Yes and no. So like,
Okay.
it's not gonna be an anime like Naruto.
All right.
Absolutely not, because every single show has relatively the same vibe versus Naruto is one
Oh,
complete story, start to finish. Like, have
yeah.
you ever read or watched Lord of the Rings? You know how it's one story,
Yeah.
start to finish? That's a
Yeah.
lot like Naruto, but Pokemon's more like SpongeBob, where it's the same characters, kind of the same vibe, but just a goofy little, story. Um,
But
they're in a new town, or they catch a new Pokemon, or something like that. The movies are the only ones that actually feel like an anime, like an anime movie. Um,
right. But I do remember
but it,
everybody went nuts over Pokemon. That seemed to be the
well,
big
yeah.
explosion because you had the cards and the craze that went around, because cards was a thing as well. Everybody must have swapped. Okay, if not Pokemon cards, but like
Well,
stickers
and
or cards.
with,
Like in the playground, you would like go got need. Here it was football stickers.
so
It was
the
like,
funny thing. Oh yeah, go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, that was another obsession where like you'd go in with a stack in school and you try and, because to complete your collection or whatever.
So
So many things like got need, like, and there'd be like groups of people hanging around, and it'd be like always that one card or sticker that's rare, and you could not trade that. But it was a thing, is like, I've got to get this thing, and you'd spend whatever pocket money you got, like, I need to get a new packet, a new packet. It was just like, oh, and then you always get the repeated one, like, fucking hell, you got so many of these like basic level cards or players, and like, oh, I've got them again. But when you finally put the last sticker in the book of like, yes, I finished the team or the book or whatever. But I remember Pokemon was a thing of like, just popped out of nowhere of like these cards of like, and everyone suddenly was talking like Charizard and uh, Pikachu and all these things, and like, blimey, like, it's just
the
gone off on one.
the thing is about Pokemon is like you can have a unique, like I have a unique relationship with Pokemon. I'm not mainstream consciousness. Mainstream consciousness jumps on the freight train. They're always chasing, they're in the rat race. They're always chasing the newest thing. It's like, oh, look at this. And then they have the attention span of a goldfish. So it's like
Yeah, it's a
they're
fad, a
just
trend, right?
yeah, like people who follow fads, that's mainstream consciousness. They're not like they're not in tune with their inner world. They're like they have to constantly seek in this external world because that's the only gratification they understand. Um, but like me, for instance, my relationship with Pokemon is really different. So like I carry Pokemon with me everywhere. Like I got a Venusaur right here. And somebody could see this and just see it as a keychain, right? But in my head, they're alive. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're alive. They have names, they have personalities. They're with me everywhere. Same reason why I wear this Naruto headband. It's like I embraced the characters I'm inspired by, and that's what makes me Christopher Green.
Fair
So it's
play,
like
man.
all these, yeah. So it's like, yeah,
I love that he's carried on the obsession. That's what happens back then, right? You catch on to one thing, and that's it. It stays with you, right? I think we've all seen these short-lived fads, right? Like I don't know how much this spread to your side of the world, but it was just weird things like yo-yos were a thing for like a few weeks. Everybody wanted a yo-yo, especially a light-up yo-yo. I mean, yo-yo's been around for years, but like I remember distinctly at school, for a good few weeks, everybody wanted a yo-yo or came in and doing all the tricks. Then it moved on to sherbet straws. These neon-coloured, nothing special about them, just sherbet straws. I just like, where do these even like fads come from? I know, like in modern day, we've seen things like. Did you guys see the ice bucket challenge? I think it was around COVID. I've got blank faces here.
I think I remember that. Was it because like so people could experience? Is it? I don't want to get it wrong.
I think it was partly like charity based. You know, people like
Yeah.
they filmed them, so it was literally nominate someone that you literally just get a bucket of ice cold water poured over you or something, and you'd nominate someone else to get that, and it would become like a daisy chain around online, all in the name of, I think, making money for charity.
Yeah.
But back then it was just like everybody bought this thing and you'd buy it as
Yeah.
well, right?
They would just, because it's trending. That's what everybody does. That's like a lot of what, like, dance moves and stuff are too. It's like the things that are trending, or even,
Oh yeah, yeah.
If anything comes out from like McDonald's, like if you get like a certain thing with Happy Meal, like sometimes I'm like, wait, what are they putting out as a toy? Like, who can I give a Happy Meal to?
Yeah.
Because I want the toy. Like that's
speaking of dancing, how that fucking flossing came a thing. Fucking hell, you look like such a fucking idiot when you do it. Fuck me. I mean, like, you look like a
I think
twat.
that's the point, though.
But really, of all the things, who made that?
Well, because I guess like a lot of people are just like we get super serious. Like sometimes we just take things way too seriously. So I think that people will try to create things, and sometimes it resonates, and sometimes it doesn't.
Fucking hell. Yeah, it looked like a right knobhead. What else did we obsess over? There must be loads of things, right? Like films, TV characters, music.
Oh, I have films. Mine would be, okay, there's a few. There's The Land Before Time.
Yeah.
There's Labyrinth. There's Labyrinth, Howard the Duck, Willow. Those ones I was like severely obsessed with. Severely. I mean, who could not love Willow? I was so obsessed with that. My parents like told me like you used to play that all the time. Like that's the tape that I would always put in. I'm like, let's watch Willow. And I literally remember like, Never Ending Story was another one. But I remember I used to sneak in. It's like the door was open and my parents weren't home. I snuck into my parents' room, and I'd pop the video in, and then I would go into my dad's like candy stash, and then I would just like sit there eating candy and watching. And I legitimately thought that I was getting away with like doing this, like
Yeah.
eating his candy and like watching and all that stuff. And then I noticed that his candy started changing because I didn't like nuts at the time, and all of a sudden he was getting like Crunch bars and like peanut M&Ms. So what I ended up doing, and I think this is probably where he felt a little defeated, was I would eat the M&Ms, I'd eat all the chocolate around it, and I would spit out. I have like the bin like right here, and I would just spit out the peanut. And then I hit another M&M and spit out the peanut. And I'm just like watching Willow or Howard the Duck or Never Ending Story. So that was like another thing I did in my childhood.
I hope your dad never watches this.
No, he knows. He thought it was funny because I tell him, I'm like, I thought I was getting away with it because he never acknowledges it. He's just not the type. He's just kind of like, oh, okay, I see what's happening. Let me just do this. So when I told him, I was like, man, as a child, because you're not thinking about it, like you're not so conscious of things. So I'm like, as a child, I believe that like, yeah, I'm going to go in and I got the candy. Yeah, it's so much fun. And then every time I come back and I'm like, okay, good. He hasn't figured anything out yet.
Yeah.
And then when he started getting the peanut, I was like, oh man, baby Ruth, peanut M&Ms. And I'm just like, peanut M&Ms. Because I had to choose from the stash which candy I get to eat. But I would talk to him about it. Like I still talk to him about it every now and then. And he just laughs because my mentality as a child, like I can remember it. And I'm just like, what was I thinking? Like such a kid, but it's so like exhilarating and exciting to you because you're just like, oh,
it's a mission. You got to make sure you don't get caught. You cover up your trail, and you're always on the lookout, right? Can you hear the car in the driveway? Can you hear someone coming up the stairs or whatever? Like shit.
Yeah.
You have an escape. You need an escape plan.
Yeah. The cool part about it though is like fast forward, like obviously when I'm like much older and I realized that after the fact, it's just like my dad just let me do it. Like he didn't even try to like stop me or get in the way. Like he loves me enough to be like, all right, cool. Like you can have this. Like if this is your introvert way of just like chilling, like I get it. And it's like a way I do like to enjoy. Like that's why when I watch something, it's like that. It brings me back to that moment where I'm just like, everything in the world doesn't exist right now. This is just what I want to do right now. And it's just about this. And usually it's something that's inspired. So it kind of brings me back to that moment. And I'm really grateful that my dad let me have that, especially as a kid.
True. True. Well, you hit upon a great point there. We did this shit because we wanted to. That's it. It wasn't for approval or to appease something or someone. No, we did it in our way because we wanted it. And that's something we forget as we take on responsibilities, obligations, expectations and shit like that. But part of the thing these memories and links are so strong is like, shit, we just did it for us. And the enjoyment we got out of that in our own little way means
it's so crazy. Okay. Thanks, Danny. I think it's just crazy how like we forget that. Like as you get older, like for me, it happened at a pretty young age, but it's essentially as you get older, you just start piling on these responsibilities that you feel like you have to have because this is what you see or this is what you believe or were led to believe. Like a lot of it, I feel like is that conditioning that, like I've mentioned previously, how like all of us are born authentic and then we start losing ourselves as we grow because we have to adapt to the environment or we're getting programmed into whatever society or the systems and all that. And our parents are telling us, or the neighborhood or the family members that are around or friends of theirs. And then once we realize that we're not fully ourselves or not like happy because the brain doesn't make us happy, it just keeps us safe, then we're just like trying to look for this feeling. And really, I feel like when people are trying to look for happiness, they're just looking for authenticity. They're just looking to get back to themselves. And that's what I feel like we spend the rest of our lives doing, is just trying to get back to who we are. And, moments like that, that's why I love this topic, which is just so funny that we got this to this topic from just us having a conversation. But it's just like that. Like we're in this space where we could do so much more, but we limit ourselves into thinking we have to do XYZ.
Yep.
But we actually don't have to do it. But it's been ingrained. It's like, oh, but you know, you need to save money. And it's just like, oh, but like I really want this other thing. It's just like, yeah, but is that a smart move now? So then it's just like you have like this thing where you're trying to fight. It's like, you know, like sides of you fighting for responsibility. It's just like, okay, do I just want to go ahead and do this and like, you know, pay the consequences, because everything's consequences and trade-offs. So it's just like, am I good with that? Or it's like, no. And most of the time it's no, I feel more comfortable with this. I would rather be in the comfort of where I am, knowing that nothing will ever amount, than to go out and pursue this other thing that I'm actually passionate about, you know? So that's what I just like find interesting. And I think that's the reason why when I do binge watch, that's kind of the vibe that I'll get into for myself, where it's just like, all right, this is me. Like, I honestly take it as like a sign. Like, I'm like, okay, for some reason, I'm not feeling well and all this stuff. And I'm debilitated to the point where it doesn't help. It's sunken costs for me to try to keep working. So I might as well just fully rest. But I know myself well enough that I can't just fully disengage, because I also get really excited about the things I'm working on and I want to do them. So then it's like, okay, then I need something that can essentially distract me into doing this other thing, so to speak. And, you know, sometimes I think that's why for me, like, I don't think distractions are terrible. I think for someone like me anyways, like distractions are actually like a little break, a little reprieve. So then I can just escape into something and watch it for a little bit. And then I'm like good to go. Then I just come back inspired and I come back refreshed. And I'm like, oh man, I just watched, like, one of the ones that I keep talking about is Project Hail Mary. I'm like, I love that movie so much. And then I just like kind of go off and then I quote it. So like, even when I'm working on stuff through the day, like something happens and it's like a scene from the movie because I had just watched it, and then it's a moment that I find funny. So then I'm just typing away, and then all of a sudden I just start laughing to myself because the scene flashed in my head, because it just has that kind of like the good vibes I picked up from it is the effect that's still sitting with me, and I just end up carrying that energy through. That's my experience anyway.
But it's funny how you mentioned it as a distraction. But back then, it was never a distraction. We just did it because we enjoyed it. And it's funny, I think like we rush to rationalize, or as you said, consider that trade-off and consequence because we just want to binge watch something. Now, we might take on nowadays that, yes, I got inspired by it, or I think about the other thing I want to do. That can naturally happen. But sometimes there is enough space for us to go, I'm just going to watch Willow again with peanut M&Ms just for the sake of watching Willow with peanut M&Ms. That's it. There's no other agenda, obligation, restriction, expectation, whatever. Yeah. I enjoyed this thing when I was X years old, but I can still enjoy it when I'm now Y years old later.
Yeah. I think when it comes to that, like that kind of thing specifically, that's more like, if I was in the States, I'm gonna ride my bike and go hiking. Like that's more of like jump on the motorcycle and just ride out and, you know, just do it because I feel like doing it and I feel like going, or just be like, I want sushi right now. And then just hopping on my bike and just being like, all right, like, you know, and that's usually it has to do with food. So I do that on a daily basis. But as far as like that full decompression, it's not really something that I feel like when I'm doing these things that can also, if it's too much in volume, it can like wear me down a bit, but it's because I enjoy it is why I end up like continuing to do it. So technically, like those are things I also want to do. These are things that nobody's asking me to do, but I want to do it. So the stuff that I'm working on is pretty much the stuff that I want to do. So there's not really I need to, you know, like do this other thing because I feel like doing it. It's like, for me, it's just like, no, I do the things I want to do, period. You know, if I don't want to do it, then that's where I just kind of pause or stop. But if it's something where I need a distraction, because I'm just going to keep doing these other things, but I also know that I need time to decompress, like for myself. So I need to look at something to distract, because sometimes it's not even it's not even that. It's a another thing that I'll do too to decompress is color. So sometimes I'll just sit there and just color, and that's all I'm doing, and that's just what I feel like doing in that moment. So it goes back where it's like, okay, like for me, when I get really upset and or I'm having a hard time with something, like I'm struggling, there's times where I'm inspired to color.
Yeah.
So when I sit there and I start coloring, I won't stop coloring until the feeling goes away.
Yeah.
So the whole process is to just, this is what I'm going to do with the energy. This is how I'm choosing to expend it. And this is what is going to come off of it. And then from there, it's like I can transition and do something and feel like I release like a little bit of anxiety or doubt, whatever it is, you know, in that time. But I don't know. I guess it's just like for me, because I think about my end goals. So I try to use that North Star to make sure that whatever I'm working on is something that I want to do and something that works towards those goals. And that's kind of like where my filter has been more on, where I just try to keep it like simple for myself. And sometimes the answer is the best thing for me to do right now is just relax. You know, and that's like the time that my internet got cut because of the fiber getting cut. Like I was so like fighting against that because I had all these things to do online. But by the end of it, when I thought about it, and this is much after the fact, I was like, I should have just chilled. Like I ended up putting myself through all of that stress over a situation that I couldn't control. And I was trying to find solutions because that's how I operate like normally. But what I should have realized the solution is just you're just going to be offline, cancel all your calls, and just do whatever you can to just chill. That's it. That's all you can
crazy,
do.
isn't it? It's like what we're so dependent on that nowadays. Like the internet is just linked to everything we seemingly do. That when it goes offline for what it it's out of our control. We're like, but it takes us back to when we were kids. We didn't have the internet. We survived probably actually better because go and read a book, go and watch TV, go outside. We did these things because we kept ourselves amused. Everybody else is in the same tune. But nowadays, it's like, funny enough, though, when you mention, you know, I should just relax or chill or whatever, what's the thing we do that would default to what looks like chilling? We get on that thing and start scrolling.
No,
well,
that's not how I relax.
But I mean, colloquially. So when you're
that's
seemingly sitting there, right? But you know,
my gosh,
studies and things show that actually when you scroll out of relaxing or chilling, you're actually getting more bored. So in one way, you're trying to alleviate boredom because that's what it comes down to. I'm just relaxing or chilling or whatever colloquialism we're using by scrolling through things that will distract us or keep us hooked on this thing. But as in that motion, you're actually increasing your boredom. But when we come back to kids, yes, it's not to say we didn't get bored of things. Of course we did, because as you said, you I don't know, watch the show or finish your thing and you'd move on to something else. But it was never that, I need to... I think a lot of the stuff back then was just routine based. And when you come home from school, the first thing you do is switch on the TV and it'd be the Saturday, the weekday afternoon kid stuff on the mainstream channels. That was definitely a thing in the UK where, like, you know, so many shows on either BBC or ITV, you would go watch it. And they'd be short shows. They'd be only like 20, 25 minutes long, but you'd all chat about it the next day. That was the thing. Like, I don't think it was FOMO, but it was more like it was just a thing that everybody did.
Yeah.
That collectivism, and you just get into things like that. And that's funny. We call these obsessions because it just became a routine thing in so many different. Like, so we mentioned TV, things we collected. Like we mentioned Pokemon cards, music. I just think music back then seemed to have that connectivity to everybody. Like I was watching another podcast the other day, and they talked about. I don't. Do you know what? There's a song that broke the record recently for the number of weeks. It was at number one. I think it's now I don't even know the number. I want to say 12th, but I think it's longer than that. Anyway, but the host of the show went, "Have you heard the song?" No. Have you? No. It's this big song that's apparently popular. I don't think everybody knows about it. And I think back then was maybe, I know things have changed in terms of how we consume music nowadays, for example. But back then, again, like you were talking about the ritual of like finding the cassette tape, getting the candy. Back then, to consume music, for example, it's like, okay, you had to have enough money to go and buy the single, because singles were a thing, to the record store, physically get it in the home, if you've got your own player or a shared player, play it off there. And if you didn't have the money, you'd hope you'd catch it on the TV show that was, so here, like Top of the Pops was popular. That's how you consume music. So if you wanted it, you have to go and get it. Nowadays, like you literally have the whole discography of an artist in seconds. So there's no room for like the wonder or experience of like, so, you know, a lot of people would have heard a song on a radio. Did you ever do the play record?
Yeah.
Like record it off the radio. That was
Oh,
a thing.
yeah.
Make sure you catch
That
it
was
so that,
totally
and
a
you'd be
thing.
pissed off if the DJ started talking like, shut up. I need
Yeah.
my song uninterrupted. Fuck off with your fucking.
And then you'd always have to pause it for the commercials, like
Right.
all the things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that
And
was
then,
the time.
oh no, the tape is about to. Okay, no, it's flipped over. Okay,
Yeah.
the song continues.
Yeah, that was a science. Like we were saying before, it's a mission. This was a science. Time it properly,
Yeah.
otherwise you'd fuck it up and you have to wait till next week to do it.
Yeah.
I had a thing where like I knew about playing record, but I also discovered that there is a mic slot in my stereo. So I'd have to find this place where there's no noise. So if it didn't play on the radio and it played like off the TV or a computer or whatever, I would have a microphone next to the speaker and it would record that way. But to make sure nobody would open the door or like put something else on because it would be picked up by the mic.
Pick it up.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
it'd be like, oh, you fucked that up. But that's how we consumed music, and we'd play that tape again and again. It didn't matter that we've heard it before, but it's like you'd play it again.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't be bothered that I've heard this thing before, but it's like, no, it was just like that.
Song and repeats.
Yeah, honestly, because I know there were repeats back in the day too, but it'd be like you want to catch it first time when it was either played live or for the first time, so that you know you're not missing it for yourself. And I think everything felt like that in that time. Like, you know, if it wasn't kids shows, it'd be, you know, like game shows or things that everybody seemed to watch. Yes, look, there were less channels back then. So again, it was the whole, okay, we haven't got a plethora of choice on, because like satellite was still a privileged thing. You had to pay for satellite TV. In the same way, yes, nowadays you have to pay for a Netflix subscription or a Prime subscription. Okay, fine. But, you know, here in the UK, like if you wanted Sky, specifically the satellite dish, you have to go and get the package and stuff like that. So,
yeah, it's like satellite or cable.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's different things. And then all the Prime channels and all that.
Yeah. Adding it on top. But I think I do like reminiscing because it just feels that like it just feels better back then. Well, when I say feels better, it's like maybe an easier life, maybe a less shit time. I don't know.
I think it's just exposure. I think that back then we weren't really exposed to things the way that we are now. If we needed to get a hold of somebody, you call them. You know, if you still can't get a hold of them and you don't know where they are, you page them. And if it was past the time of pagers, then you would text them or you would try to hit up their mobile phone. But a majority of the times you're on a landline and you're talking on the phone and you're excited if you can do three-way calling so you can invite more friends, you know, and just like just hanging out and just talking on the phone and holding on to the line. And then having a cordless was like magical too, because then you could walk around the house and be on the phone. So it's such a different time where now it's like we're so much more accessible. You can literally wake up and then someone has left you a text message, which would be the equivalent to someone like leaving you a note. So it's kind of like you look at it and then you're seeing it if you first wake up to that, and so on and so forth. But you know, I think it's just a lot of that is everything is a lot more automated. Everyone is a lot more accessible, like according to themselves. Because when there was a time I went backpacking in Europe, and my cousin was at this hotel in Paris, and I had gotten in while he was doing a tour with his wife. And when I checked in, they go, "Oh, like Miss Cruz, here's a note for you." And then I was like, "A note?" And I opened it up, and my cousin had handwritten me a note. Like, hey, yeah, it was just like, "Hey, you must be tired," because I just came in from like my other family, like the other side of my family that lives in France. I just came in from their place, so I had to just take the subway and stuff going on. So when I got the note, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." It's like, "Okay, we're gonna leave at this time tomorrow, so we can go champagne tasting and everything. Let us know what room number you're in, this and this and that." So I just was like, "Oh, can I get a pen?" And I just wrote him a note back. I was like, "Yeah, just call me at this time. I'm in this room and everything. Make sure I'm awake." And then it was like that. I woke up to a phone call, and I just picked up the phone, and I'm like, "Hello," you know, because I had a mobile phone because my aunt, because they live in France. Like my aunt gave me a phone with Orange, so I did have a phone. But my cousin who's visiting from the States didn't have a phone, so I was just like, "Oh, just call me in my room." So then I was just like, "Hey," and he's like, "Hey, cuz, you awake?" I was like, "Yep." And then I like hung up the phone, turned on the TV, and it was Smurfs in French. And I was like, "Oh, this is nice." And that's what I got ready for in the morning, you know. And that was cool because then I'm just like, "Oh, Smurfs." I kind of watch this every now and then, like, because every now and then as I got older, I was more allowed to watch TV, but it wasn't a huge interest. It would be more like someone else is watching it and I walked in. But yeah. Oh, except for the Sailor Moon phase. That one was all me. I got everything with that one. I had the Sailor Moon stickers. I printed out the Sailor Moon like posters that I would find on the internet. I'd get Sailor Moon posters. I got the CD of their songs. I got like the seasons. I got cards. I got so many things because I was like Sailor Moon obsessed. Yeah.
What was it about
and
it
that's
that
still
caught
around
you?
today. I think it has to do with the moon, because I just like the moon and the stars in particular. My dad was in the military, so I grew up all over the place. So even like on my tattoo, like you can kind of see it's like all stars, like they're just like these little red stars. And I like had them basically put there because like the stars are the closest thing that feel like home to me. So there's a lot of times, even till now, so this is something I carried on from my childhood, is I look up, no matter where I was in the world, I could somehow manage to find like certain constellations. So it was like that was the only thing that was consistent wherever I was, whenever we moved around. So that was the closest thing for me to call home, because I didn't have a home, because I just kept moving around a lot.
That's a nice little story. That.
Yeah.
It,
So that's
it's funny how much we do carry over from childhood, and when we tap back into it, we get very wistful. It just brings us, I think, you know, it's not to say that, you know, we didn't experience tough times in childhood like maybe in general, but we do look back at I think we do look back at it with fondness because of how much I think has changed. And that change is going to happen in general, right? We know that's just progress. But I always say in conversation when these kind of things come up that like I've yet to experience. Well, no, that's not true. I was going to say I've yet to experience a year better. Well, I keep pausing because it's like
Like, oh wait.
Yeah, well, yeah, because things come up. Because I was going to say, there's never been a better year than 1996, but I toned that back a little bit to the summer of 1996. And the reason I say that is again very UK centric, but it was the time when we had a big political change. So after years of the Conservatives rule, we had Labour coming in with a Prime Minister in Tony Blair who seemed to feel different, like, oh, he's going to carry some new hope, new direction. So that was an uplift. We had the biggest band in Oasis, not just in the UK, but seemingly felt like the world, that everybody tapped into it. And then we hosted the European Championships in the football, where the England team did well. So everybody's rode on this emotion of euphoria. The time that they call it, the period, they called it Cool Britannia instead of Rule Britannia. But just for that summer, and I say the summer because things like the world very rapidly changed, like just, you know, external world events and stuff like that. So for that little period, everything felt just, we hit the sweet spot. And the reason I hesitated with that is like, yeah, I would say I was 11 back then, and I definitely tapped into the football because that was my first foray into following a football team, experiencing that all. The summer, it just felt like this summer, like very unbroken sunshine. I didn't tap into Oasis back then. Definitely tapped into it now. And the politics are, again, very reflective. Like I knew of the change, but it didn't feel like the big upheaval it was back then. But it just felt a time just to enjoy what was going on. Yeah. And the other year that comes back up was when I was in my, I hit 20 actually in 2005, where again it was a warm summer. Liverpool won the Champions League in Istanbul, which has its own story. You just say the word Istanbul and all Liverpool fans' faces light up. England won the Ashes in the cricket for the first time in 25 years, which was all free to watch on TV before it all get nicked by satellite. I was in my first job as an apprentice in the summer in a bank. So it just felt okay, employment. And university was going well. It felt like I had a real sync with the subject. I enjoyed it. It was a nice time. And everything had felt just like in one good moment and spot. And I think we probably had more of those moments back then as a kid rather than now, where, like, you know, you still get those fleeting moments, but when everything just seems to line up. And I think the word obsession carries over from the fact that when we felt those things as a kid, we just enjoyed it, whatever it was, whether we were collecting something or creating something or watching something. You know, I met with my my childhood friend from when we were 3 years old the other day, with another one of our schoolmates. And the shit we came up with and remembered of, like, how the fuck do we still remember this shit? It was things like a line from a TV show or something that happened at school of, like, and things like recess, like, well, playtime we call it here. Well, like, we would just remember things like, do you remember we used to play this game? And it wasn't like, you know, a traditional playground game like tag or something. It was like, we'd think of a TV show and try and reenact the TV show. And it'd be like, I remember he was this character and he was this, and you were always, I don't know where the hell that came from. But it's just like,
but it's like your imagination. Like that's what was so beautiful about it.
That's literally it. We would just create, we would enjoy it, and we didn't psychoanalyze it afterwards. It would just be like, we enjoyed it. Just felt like fun.
Yeah, I feel like that's why the creativity is so important to tap into, especially now, like as you get older, but especially now because of the time. It's like so much. Yeah, so much is like covering that up, and I feel like that's actually the time to, like, really go in on being creative, because at the end of the day, humans can make a lot of things, some of them destructive, but some of them also creative. And it's like, if the energy's there, like, why not create something just for fun, just for shiggles, and, try it out. Like, I mean, that's how this came about. We were just
True.
like, let's open a bar. And then she's like, oh, where do you want to have it? It's like, I don't know. And now we're landlocked. But, I digress. It's more of we created this because it was something that was fun. And it was actually because we like talking to each other. We're like, let's just make this a thing so people can join in. And she's like, oh yeah. So
and that
here
is
we
it.
are.
And literally, it does feel exactly like that mold we did as kids. We did it. If somebody came along, we'd ask them. Actually, no, we'd first ask them, like, we should do this thing together, and we did it. And if other people joined, great. Yeah. That's exactly the ethos we roll, right?
Yep.
Hang on. I hear those sirens again. We better lock up. We'll get in trouble.
Yeah. Don't worry, I got the stuff out back anyway, so we're good.
You sure?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, good. I'm making sure we're covered.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.